I've been living in Florida for about 60 days, closer to 75, but we'll call it a clean 60. And here are my thoughts so far as someone who has started a business in this state, who has gone to all the beaches within 30 minutes, most of the boat ramps, fishing spots, a lot. So I'm gonna give you a quick rundown on everything I've done so far, and then I'm gonna break it down in a pros and cons list so you know if it's worth it. And it's only 60 days, so here are my first impressions. So I've been to basically every single beach within a 30-minute radius. Multiple different public beach accesses on Panama City Beach. We moved to Panama City, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but we've been to Mexico Beach. We have been to St. Andrews State Park and been around all the beaches in that area. And I have a lot of experience in the Panhandle, so we've been to all of the beaches down there as well. But as far as Panama City, everything in my 30-minute radius, we have basically visited. And ironically enough, Panama City Beach is actually my least favorite, but like I said, we'll talk about that in a minute. So I moved here and we basically started a brand new business. So we started a furniture flipping business and it's kind of expanded into boats and other things. But this has led us down a very strange path where all day, every day, I'm going to pick things up and then I'm going to my storage facility to fix it up, make a video with it and flip it, and then I'm delivering it for a fee and of course the profit. So this has led me to explore so many nooks and crannies of this city and the surrounding areas. So I have a super interesting kind of perspective. I've seen a lot of the apartment complexes, a lot of neighborhoods, and arguably some areas of the city where, my neighbor who may have been living here their whole life, I might have had the opportunity to see more in 60 days because all day, every day, all I've done is run to different areas of the city. Every single day, I see 2 or 3 new neighborhoods, apartment complexes, areas, etc. So that is kind of really good for today's video because I have a decent perspective on different areas and I've seen a lot. Also, we got into fishing, so we don't know every fishing spot. Obviously, around this neck of the woods, there's unlimited fishing spots, but we've hit a lot of the more popular spots, which has led us off the beach and exploring more of the lakes, rivers, ponds, bay areas. So we've seen a lot of that, and we got a boat, a couple boats actually, just little plastic boats with a electric trolling motor. So we've gone to a lot of the boat ramps and explored a lot of the waterways. So we have done a ton, and almost all of it has been filmed here on this channel. So I've got a few thoughts about my first 60 days, starting a business, getting into boating, doing all of this stuff. So let's go into the cons. But before we do, I want to give you a quick shout out from today's sponsor. Thank you to EmpireDigest.com. They help regular people build and grow thriving online businesses so they can live their best life possible. They are part of an elite community of highly successful internet entrepreneurs on a mission to help regular everyday people break free from mediocrity and create the best life possible. Sounds similar to this channel. They're doing this by helping you start and grow highly successful, location-independent online businesses that provide unlimited income potential and time freedom and the ability to turn your dreams into reality faster than anything else that you've tried. Thanks to Empire Digest for sponsoring this video and helping my audience make more money. All right, now let's start with the cons so we can kind of end on a high note. And if you've made it this far and you're interested in general Florida content, you're in the right place because I buy, sell, play with all my toys, do whatever, boats, kayaks, all that stuff. And I'm going to be starting a series where I just go and explore Florida. So if that sounds interesting, definitely stay tuned. So I'm going to start with the cons, and a lot of it has to do with the driving experience. So the roads, I do about 5 U-turns a day. And I really notice when I do those because I drive I have a couple cars, but the one I drive for the flipping business, of course, is a truck. But it's a 5-speed manual transmission truck and I'm hauling a trailer. So, when I'm making these U-turns, I really know I'm making these U-turns. You gotta feather the clutch a little bit, get it in first, watch the trailer, and there's a lot of U-turns in Florida. And this kind of goes from the entire Panhandle stretch all the way from Panama City all through Pensacola. Or you can even say Mexico Beach, not so much. Mexico Beach is it's kind of smaller area. It's much easier to get around, but I'm doing a ton of U-turns. So the roads are, they're easy to navigate, 15th Street, 16th Street, 7th Street, all these different roads. You can easily know where you're going, even if you're from out of town. You just got to remember the basics. But that doesn't mean that you're going to be able to turn exactly where you want to turn. You might have to pull past, a couple lots of a business you're trying to get to, do a U-turn, and then snake back into. I've lived in 3 different states, 5 different cities, and this is by far the most U-turns I've ever done. So that leads us into the traffic. So we chose Panama City over Panama City Beach to avoid the congested traffic that, I've stayed in Panama City Beach many times and gone in there and had fun and explored it and did all that stuff. And I thought that traffic was bad, but I've come to the realization that a lot of people around me work in Panama City Beach, where a lot of the tourist industry is, and that's obviously a giant driver of the economy and the job market here. So a lot of people, from 4 to 6 are coming home from those jobs, flooding in from the beach side over into here. And we have basically 2-lane highways where I live. So it's kind of gets congested now. It's all about, your perspective, right? If you're from LA or New York, you'll be laughing when you get here saying this is nothing. But from someone who is from a small town and lived in bigger cities like Kansas City, Springfield, Missouri, it's a little bit smaller, but I was born and raised in a town that has 10,000 people living in it. The traffic to me can be annoying. So I try not to leave from 4 to 6 and just let everybody go where they gotta go and then go from there. So the traffic is a little bit annoying. Now the drivers, it's a little bit more of a diverse driving group here. We've got people who are on their deathbed, retiring. This is it, baby, final destination. They don't use blinkers. They can't even see 2 cars in front of them. So I'm getting cut off, I'm swerving these old people that don't know what the hell is going on. You've got people on meth going crazy. You've got tourists who are drunk driving and doing all these different crazy things and just being general tourists, right? So the drivers here can be, I've always heard people complain about drivers in particular cities, and I've never quite understood that after living in, so many different cities. In Kansas City, the drivers here are pretty wild. I've never, ever witnessed, and I do a lot of road trips, I've never witnessed an accident, a car collision in my life. Well, the first 30 days, I witnessed a front full speed, highway speed, head-on collision, 1 car in front of me. That was kind of an eye-opener, and ever since then, I've just kind of enjoyed watching people do ridiculous shit on the road. And after a while, it kind of rubs off on you. I'm getting a little risky with the truck and trailer. Anyway, that's a topic for a different day. So as you can see, most of what I dislike in my first impressions of living here in the, I have less experience down south. I've been to a lot of the cities, Tampa, Miami, Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda, Siesta Key. I've been to a lot of those places, but I don't live there, right? So I have limited experience down there, just vacationing. But here I come up for all sorts of different reasons in my past, and now I live here. So I'm not speaking for Florida in general, but this is really anywhere on the Emerald Coast. And, let's get into the pros. First of all, the beauty. There's palm trees everywhere. The parks here are unlike parks I've ever seen anywhere else. They are absolutely beautiful, very well taken care of. The parks here are very nice for a state that has no state income tax. So anyway, palm trees, the homes here are beautiful. The cars are beautiful. The beaches, of course, there's kind of a pride of ownership here. You're close to the beach, so people care. They make their houses look cool and all these different things. It's just really pretty. Even the roads, cities that are a little bit more off of the coast, like Niceville, Freeport, Crestview, it's Florida. It's just overgrown. There's a lot of vegetation. There's just so much water, even the bays and the rivers, lakes. It is just gorgeous. Even 30 minutes north from the beach when we're running deliveries on the highway kind of up north, it's gorgeous. One of the most beautiful highways I've ever been on is just going from Panama City over up into Niceville, and I absolutely love it. I'm shocked at how beautiful it is. So let's talk about unlimited nature to explore. So, you don't really get to experience this when you're on a vacation. So my experience in Panama City has only been staying in Panama City in a beach condo with the beachfront access, and I go to that beachfront access, you get the beach service, and you call it a day. But I'm really enjoying a lot of the things that you would never really, get to experience on a week-long standard condo beach vacation. The lakes, the rivers, the ponds, all these different bay areas. It's insanely pretty. You can explore so much. Sorry, my dog has been barking nonstop. Anyway, there's just so much nature to explore. And like I said, the beaches. My least favorite beach is Panama City Beach. I much prefer Andrews State Park, which is a gorgeous state park with unlimited parking, food, rentals, and if you walk in decent ways, it's like 2 miles of shoreline of beach, and it's gorgeous. I'm never within 20 yards of people, hardly ever within view or earshot. There's particular spots, maybe I'll show you that in a video, but there's just unlimited nature to explore that you never would have been able to take advantage of on a standard vacation, and I did not expect that. I did not expect what I loved so much not be Panama City Beach, so it's awesome. Also, it's a water lover's paradise. You like to paddleboard, you like to swim, you like to fish. I mean, some of my favorite water spots aren't the beach anymore. They're 10 minutes up north, 10 miles from the coast, which is not super far, and when the bay kind of branches off and all these different little arms and these lakes form, and it is just so pretty. It is so pretty. There's so much water everywhere. I mean, water is everywhere in Panama City. There's certain spots in the Panhandle with less water, but I've noticed from Pensacola to Panama City, it seems like we have a lot of water. And I have this app, it shows me all the public boat ramps and fishing spots. Oh my gosh, there's like 50 boat ramps around here. It's insane, and they're all free to use. So that leads us into my last segment, a phenomenal place to kayak and boat. So I don't know if I popped up yet. If not, I'll pop up what I have now. So I got a couple boats. I sold one. I flipped it for part of the series on the channel of my business. But we kept one. It's a pond prowler. I modified it, and it's powered by a trolling motor, and me and my wife can fish on it, and it's super fun. But there is so many beautiful, boat launches. Just you put your boat in, free launch. It's gorgeous. Drive 5 minutes down the road, another one, gorgeous. It's insane. There's so much to see that, going to the fishing spots is great. Going to the beach, going to these parks, doing all this stuff is great. But when you get on a boat and you just start going in these waterways and you're just exploring these areas that you never would have seen without a boat, kayak, or paddleboard, it is pretty wild. And the coolest part is we just haven't seen a gator. I've been on vacations down south where I've seen 20 gators in a 1 week period. Of course, I go look for them, but here I've explored most of the beautiful water. I wouldn't even say most, that is a stretch. A lot of it, but probably not even the tip of the iceberg. I haven't seen any signs about gators. I haven't seen a gator myself, and no one really talks about them. I know, at least for me personally, from being down south, if there's water in Florida, assume there's a gator in it, unless it's probably the beach, right? But so you can actually explore a lot of the water, get lost in the waterways, and not really worry too much about your safety. There's some certain spots around here I definitely wouldn't want to swim in just in case, but it's just a wonderful place to boat for all boat sizes. Of course, mine's really small, but if there's, you can fit whatever size you want. There's just so many options, like I said, that you never would have seen unless you lived here. So that is kind of my overall review. I don't like the driving here, but it is way more beautiful, way more to do, and I'm shocked living here just for 60 days. Like I said, I've lived in some different places, some different states, different cities. I've seen a lot of this country from traveling back in the day, and I really like where I'm at. Even here in Panama City, I really like where I'm at. So that is my review. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Hit that like and subscribe button to follow on Adventures. It's kind of a new chapter on this channel. And also check out today's sponsor. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll see you next time.